As passionate Emory students, we want potential new students to get the most out of their campus tours and provide them an alternative to the current standardized route. Every student has unique interests, but many just can't take time out during the scheduled guided tours. The persisting state of the pandemic further amplifies the demand for an alternative touring method, since traveling and large gatherings are unwise. For these reasons, we were inspired to create a self-guided tour tool optimizing off of student preferences. We believe that this tool optimizes for personalization, convenience, and safety, particularly amidst COVID-19 precautions. Our model would be highly beneficial to the university to attract new students because it is user-friendly, adaptable, and it would differentiate Emory in the college applications process.
The input data for our model sources directly from the response of our survey. Our tool prompts each user to begin filling out a survey with just a click of a button. The survey asks on how much time you can spend on the tour and how interested on a scale of 1 to 7 you would be visiting each of the 26 listed Emory tour attractions as shown here. For the purpose of this video, we randomly filled out the survey. To transfer the data into our model, we wrote a macro that imports a linked auto-generated Google Sheet response form into our Excel workbook and copies the latest survey response answers into the model to enable it to run properly. Now we are retrieving the data from the survey. Now that the data has been transferred into the Excel sheet, we can run and optimize the tour route. The landing page is designed for the user to take the initial survey, optimize their tour route, and display the ideal tour results. Once Solver is done, it will automatically pull up the user form with the tours of all of the optimized route. If the user accidentally closes it out, they could always click tour route again to pull up the same user form.
For those who are curious about the back end of our model, we are now going to show you a glimpse about how our model actually works. We essentially built our model to optimize a route based on the rankings and given a time constraint, so we needed to obtain a measurement of how long it would take to walk between every listed pairings of locations on campus. To do so, we wrote a Python script to grab the geocodes, which are essentially the latitude and longitude of these locations, and calculate the shortest path distance between them. This may not be the most practical method for the user, but given that the users on their own may prefer different walking paths, we wanted to choose a standardized unit of distance. Also, the distance calculations are a secondary concern relative to our primary measurement, which is optimizing off of student preferences. After computing each of the 729 results, we reformatted them into a 27 by 27 matrix, which we believe is much easier to follow and was certainly helpful for us as a reference for the modeling process.
Our model proceeds to utilize the ranks from the survey in order to come up with an optimal route, which includes up to the 26 decision variables that we have outlined in our spreadsheet within the time frame the user specifies. You can see that we have columns that correlate to each location, the rank, and the distance it takes to get to that place from the previous location in our model. We ultimately end up converting the distance traveled to time via utilizing the average time it takes to walk a mile, which is approximately 17.5 minutes. In addition to this, we added about a minute wait time for each location in order to account for the time that the user might take to look around. The format of our model ultimately allows the solver to come up with an ideal solution to ensure each individual's satisfaction and results in the maximum user's average total sum of rankings from the survey.
To conclude, this model is a simple, easy to use tool that hasn't yet been developed elsewhere, but would add tremendous value to Emory. This model's value is further reflected in the fact that tour locations can be modified by the university and that it can be adapted to any school with only a few minor modifications.